Beck. A big man with a crown of auburn hair spoke with a drunken slur to his words. Beck Seavington. The blonde Californian on the other side of the table, who had been half-lidded as he watched a group of women across the darkened room of the pub, jerked at the sound of his name as if he'd just been slapped. What? He said, looking at the man with the auburn hair. Christ, Phipps, can't you leave me alone for a minute? Archer Phipps struggled not to laugh. Why? Because you're breaking my powers of concentration, you ass. That broke the table out in snorts of laughter. The man seated next to Beck, big and blonde with a megawatt smile, put a hand on Beck's shoulder. What in the hell are you concentrating on? He said, leaning over to see what Beck might be seeing. When he spied it, he gestured. Over there. Beck full-on pointed to the women across the pub. There. Those? Those. Well, what are you trying to do by staring at them? Just go talk to them. Beck scowled at the man. Because I'm trying to lure them with the power of suggestion, Trevor, he said. Then he looked around the table and pointed. It works. Colt over there has a laser stare. He doesn't even have to say anything. Women know what he's thinking just by the expression on his face. Isn't that right, Sheridan? Colt Sheridan, clean-cut and square-jawed, waved an annoyed hand at the man he'd spent nearly every day with for the past 6 months. Some of us don't have to be obvious, he said. Look at Nash. All he has to do is give them one of those sexy down-home expressions and they're falling all over themselves. I don't have anything on him. Across the table, Nash Orey, the quiet and diplomatic sort with a Louisiana drawl, laughed softly. It's all in the face, he said, gesturing to the big dimples in each cheek. I don't have anything y'all don't have, and we don't have anything that Thoreau has, so maybe we should just give it up and let him take the lead. The group looked over at Ethan Thoreau, a man with French parents even though he was born in America. Dark-eyed and dark-haired, he looked like he'd just come off the pages of a men's magazine. When he saw that the entire table of semi-drunks was looking at him, he smiled lasciviously. Belle-fille, he said in his best Maurice Chevalier impression, asseyez-vous sur mes genoux et dites-moi à quel point vous me voulez. Everyone burst out laughing except for Beck, who slowly banged his forehead on the table. You sound like Pepe Le Pew, he said. Shut up. More laughter, most especially from Archer and the last man of their group, a giant of a figure who wasn't part of their academic group. Fox Henredden was in the process of obtaining his PhD in archaeology, with an emphasis on Egyptology from Oxford. In fact, he'd come back a few months ago from a dig near Aswan, and when he visited his best friend from grade school, Archer, he'd come across the Americans temporarily housed in Archer's pad. He'd gotten on so well with them that they'd made him an honorary member of their group. But not just the group, of their secret society as well. Aquila Fratrum, the Eagle Brotherhood.